What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Thursday edition of the Pandemic Update for Thursday, November 9th, 2023. If you're new to my channel, first off, welcome to my channel. This is where we do the daily pandemic update on COVID and other viruses. You might be thinking, wait a second, why are you doing something on COVID? COVID's over with. Well, I'm here to tell you COVID's not over with, and there are a lot of other viruses that are an issue right now, and a lot of health issues out there in general that I want to report on. And this is where we do it every day. So give me 15 minutes of your time. If you like this video at the end, give it a thumbs up, and if you're convinced that COVID's not over, by all means, subscribe to my channel down below, and I will keep you safe from COVID and other viruses. All right, first off, this is not a virus. This is something it's not good news. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak is hospitalized after suffering a stroke. For those who don't know who he is, he's the co-founder of Apple. He helped develop some of the original Apple computers back in the 1970s. So he's currently in the hospital with a stroke. Moving on to this, also not COVID related. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick diagnosed with viral pneumonia. And this was announced on Monday. We're a little late to reporting this. I just found out about this today, but he is announced with pneumonia, and he currently is recovering and working from home. Now moving on to this. This is being in Boston, South Boston. A person on the UMass South Boston campus has been diagnosed with tuberculosis. This is not the first time we've heard about a case of tuberculosis as of lately. However, this is the first one from the UMass campus in Boston, and it does say the Boston Public Health Commission is now working with the school to trace and inform anyone who came into close contact with the patient. As we have seen in the past, we'll have to keep an eye on this. One case can lead to more cases. So hopefully that does not happen. Now let's go over to my website. Speaking of other viruses being an issue, Mpox has been an issue here and there throughout the fall so far, and throughout late summer. We've been hearing scattered reports of Mpox. And yet again, there's another state that's reporting an increase. This time it is the state of Oregon, which says cases are on the rise, and 17 cases have been reported between July 20th and July 31st of this year, which is almost double the number of cases reported between January 1st and July 20th. So, yeah, 17 cases. It's been increasing in a lot of places. We do know vaccinations are out there, but it's something we have to watch. It's something we can also detect in wastewater. Moving on to this in Chicago. Apparently there is a trial that's ongoing for a former Chicago politician named Ed Brooke. I'm not too familiar with the case and what's going on, but what I do want to report to you is it says the trial has been delayed a week after attorney tests positive for COVID-19. And if you continue to read down here, it says 2 other lawyers in the case are also experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, forcing to U.S. District Court judge to put the trial on hold until November 16th. So that's something rather interesting. Obviously, we'll be following that to see if anything else comes up from that. And now let's take a look at air qualities for today. It still remains a mixed quality across the U.S., a mixed bag of things. The West Coast, you're dealing with wildfires, which is resulting in poor air quality. In between, you have the plains, you have the portions of the Rocky Mountains, the eastern portions of it, through Chicago area, through Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma. It's not too bad. Then let's jump over to the East Coast, and yes, things are not great. Here in southeast Pennsylvania, yeah, you're seeing here some oranges. That's not good. I know I was coughing my head off this morning. Had another episode this afternoon. I attribute it to the air quality. Of course, asthma and bad air quality do not get along. Taking a look down here to Carolinas, those wildfires, they're still ongoing in the Carolinas. What we need is a big rainstorm to come up and help cleanse the air, help with the wildfires. There isn't one in the near future, unfortunately. Moving on now. Let's take a look at Walgreens, and we can see the national positivity at Walgreens, it dropped ever so slightly this week to 26.2%. The prior week was 27.6%. That's a difference of down 1.4%. Total test, 7,466. The prior week was 6,838. Let's take a look now at some of those wastewater scan websites. We have been noting here that they are, in bits and pieces, adding more wastewater sites. Today, let's take a look up in the Great Lakes. Let's just do, how about this one right here? Rochester, Minnesota. Let's see what's going on there. And right off the bat, I'm seeing norovirus is listed as high. COVID is coming medium, and it looks like on the most recent update, there is a slight increase. Influenza is starting to rise at this time. That's not good. RSV is at low levels after a rise, but it is slightly dropping at this time. HMPV is not an issue. No Mpox issue. And norovirus, it's high at this time, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. Norovirus is continuing to go up, and look at this. Some good news. No hepatitis A at this wastewater site. All right, continuing on. Let's go somewhere else in the United States. Let's come down to Tallahassee, Florida. Let's see what's going on there. Right off the bat, I'm seeing some high levels listed. Medium for COVID, and it is dropping at this time. Influenza is low, but the overall trajectory is starting to be up, even though the most recent update is downward. It looks like since about October, overall, even with some slight decreases, it has been overall gradually going up. RSV is high. It finally has leveled off. HMPV low at this time. Mpox low at this time. No issues there for that. Medium for norovirus, and I was seeing, where was it here? Well, it's not showing up on the charts, but when I did not have the charts up, it said influenza B was at high levels, and there was one hepatitis case back in, or detection, back on September 7th. See, there it is, influenza B. It's being listed as high at this time, although I did not see any chart shown there. Let's continue on here. How about we go over to, how about the Winston-Salem area of North Carolina? Then we'll do one on the West Coast, and then we'll continue on to more data. Winston-Salem, COVID is low at this time and dropping. Influenza is low, and it is dropping and has dropped on multiple updates. RSV is high, and yikes, yeah, it's starting to rise again, and the overall trajectory since September has been upward. HMPV is low. Mpox, no issues. Norovirus is low and dropping. That's good to see. And take a look at this. Hepatitis A. No detections of that at this time. Now let's go out to the West Coast, shall we? Let's take a look at just one site somewhere on the West Coast. How about today we make it be Los Angeles? And let's go to Central, the central one in Los Angeles. Joint Water Pollution Control Plant, and let's see what's going on there. Tomorrow, we should get our California update, but as you know, some states, as of lately, have not been coming in on time. Los Angeles, COVID levels are low, and you know what? The overall trajectory is still down. Influenza it's low, but it is starting to rise. RSV still low, but again, that's starting to rise as well. HMPV is not an issue. Mpox not an issue at this time. Norovirus is low, but we'll have to watch this. It's really starting to rise. That may go medium relatively soon, and look at all these hepatitis A detections. That is not good to see. All right, last day we will show you this data from the CDC Variant Nowcast page. What do I mean? No, we're not going to stop showing this page, but tomorrow it gets an update, and there should be new data. So here's what we need to look out for. HV.1 is currently at 25.2%. EG.5 is at 21.9%. FL151 is at 12%. And then we do have to watch BA.2, which is not really BA.2. It's BA2.86 or that JN.1 lineage. It's currently at 0.5%. I'm seeing some people say that when it updates tomorrow, it could come in at 2%. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have the CDC data before it comes out, but we'll just have to see what happens. That's going to be the wild card that we watch as we head towards Thanksgiving and into December. And of course, will they actually ever change this over to BA 2.86 or JN.1? I honestly don't know. I wish they would if it starts becoming dominant, because obviously we're not having a wave of BA.2 anymore, but this is a descendant. It did originally come from BA.2, and it's just, hey, the CDC's, they're not changing it for some reason. I know there's an explanation out there for it, and we'll leave that for someone else to tell you about. All right, moving on. COVID-19 hospital admissions in the past week. This should also update tomorrow. It's 15,745. This date is as of October 28th, so this is pretty far behind. And now coming over to southeast Pennsylvania, specifically Philadelphia. Taking a look at Philadelphia's EMS calls yesterday, 762. It's below 800. I mean, that's a lot of calls for by any means, but it's not 800, and that keeps me happy. Taking a live look at what's going on with Montgomery County, can we? Yes. Oh, I'm seeing some things I don't like. I'm seeing 2 fever calls, 2 stroke calls, 2 general weakness calls. So there are definitely some calls to be had in Montgomery County right now. Hopefully we can get Chester County. There we go. Sometimes these pages freeze and glitch on us. I'm seeing a lot of sick person calls. 1, 2, 3 sick person calls. Stroke, heart problems. It's like I say, sometimes it's not about the number of calls. It's about the severity of the calls that are out there. And yikes, yeah, there's not some good calls right now. At least we're not seeing cardiac arrest, but we are seeing heart problems, strokes. Yeah, normal stuff that tends to happen a little bit more frequently now because of the COVID pandemic. Now let's cross over to Delaware River and see what's going on over in New Jersey. And I'm seeing a trend that I do not like in New Jersey. I'm not going to say it's the start of the winter wave, but it's possible that something's starting to brew here. As you will notice here, New Jersey had an extended drop in hospitalizations that started back in the beginning of October. But now let's fast forward to November 4th. You can see here, New Jersey bottomed out at 383 hospitalizations. Today they're up to 442, with only 1 hospital not reporting. 69 out of 70 reported. You can see here, they had a few times before where, it bottomed, and then it went up a little bit again. But this time, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, we haven't seen a period here with 4 days in a row in quite some time. So it's something we take note of. They have 16 people on a ventilator in the ICU, patients in the ICU, 54. And let's take a look at discharges. Only 66 discharges in the last 24 hours. So, yeah, New Jersey, we're going to have to keep an eye on you. If you continue rising into the weekend, just maybe, that would be the start of your winter wave. New York State, 1,771 new cases in the last 24 hours. That number does seem to be a little bit up from yesterday. Taking a look at hospitalizations in New York State, this number is not up. It is now down to 1,077. There's a big wild card at play now. Will New York State drop below 1,000 hospitalizations before the winter wave? I'm not a big-time betting man, but I'm thinking it's possible that they do before the winter wave takes in. But we'll see here. New Jersey possibly changing. Will New York State possibly start changing soon? That's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Taking a look at some data from Chicago, you can see here, Chicago hospitalizations are down slightly. Beds in use, flat. That's why you see this leveling number here. And then taking a look at emergency visits, that's flat. Again, you see the leveling symbol, I should say. Confirmed cases are down ever so slightly, so that's good. Deaths are up ever so slightly. And vaccinations, this is good to see. Vaccinations administered, 2,687. So that number is up as well. All right, remember yesterday we wanted to show you Texas, but we couldn't because they were late updating for some reason. Well, take a look at this. It finally came in. I don't know what time last night it came in, but I refreshed it when I came home today and looked. Finally, Texas is in, because I was refreshing it up until 6 o'clock last night and was not seeing anything, and then I forgot about it last night, and I refreshed it today. Here we go. And it's good news. Cases are down ever so slightly, not much. Current week, 9,500 41 the previous week was 9,652. So they didn't drop enough to erase the over 300 rise they had in the previous week. But hey, a drop is a drop. We'll take it, but again, these are still elevated levels. There is a little bit more good news, though. Taking a look at deaths, 39 versus 50. Hey, that's down by 11, and just some ever so slight bad news. I mean, ever so slight, minor. Hospitalizations, up by 1 to 1,039 versus 1,038. Now let's take a look at the virus dashboard for Massachusetts, which just came in, and it's now at 11.8% of emergency department visits. That's relatively flat over last week. I think it was 11.9 last week. It's not much of a change, which, quite frankly, that is a good thing. And it says here, influenza severity is low, minimal for COVID, and COVID-19 hospital admissions is low with, remember, minimal being the lowest level on their indicators here. You can see they have several different colors. Hopefully we will not see moderate, substantial, or high at any point. And now let's take a look at Washington State. COVID. It's down by 7%, and influenza is unfortunately up by 50%. COVID-19 percent of hospital admissions is down by 11%. RSV, it looks like it's saying 100%. That's not good. And taking a look at the number of beds occupied in a ICU for COVID, 21, and it's less than 10 for influenza. So you can see influenza is only less than 10, but COVID, 21. Red flag? Yes, it tells you that, hey, COVID can get quite severe. For those who don't want to believe it, there you go. 21 people in the ICU for COVID. Some more good news for today. Colorado has dropped ever so slightly in hospitalizations. Last week, it was 257. This week, currently hospitalized is 232. So that is a number that we'd like to see come down. We will have to see how long this lasts because, remember, the holidays are right around the corner. A new potential variant is right around the corner. So while they may temporarily see a drop, it also may rise as well. And you can see here, this was well needed. I mean, they were essentially rising since the start of August. And they were one of the only states that were not yet seeing a drop. So yes, finally I can report Colorado did see somewhat of a drop. Their previous drop was in the beginning of October, but it was so minor that it doesn't even really matter at this point. Alright, moving on, let's take a brief look at some international numbers. And internationally, Brazil is down 14% on cases, 42% on deaths, but we do have some countries that are up. Russia, cases are up 32%. Deaths are up 3%. Germany, cases up 23%. Deaths up 34%. What does that mean? It's 298 deaths versus 223. So, yeah, that's still a lot of deaths. Poland, cases are now up 21%, but good news, the deaths are down 41%. 13 versus 22. And then we come down here to Switzerland, where cases are up 18%. They're still not reporting their deaths. Hopefully they have had none. The Philippines, cases now up 26% and 10 deaths versus 2, which is why that says 400. Alrighty, that does it for today's pandemic update. Were you convinced that COVID's not over and that there are other issues out there that are a threat to your health? If so, give this video a thumbs up. Of course, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, maybe you enjoy seeing these daily updates and you want to, be notified when they're coming, well, by all means, subscribe to my channel and hit that little notification bell, and you'll be notified when I do the daily pandemic update. And, of course, if you know anyone that needs to see these updates, by all means, share this with them. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Thursday evening. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.